All right, all right. Welcome to the Unrestrained podcast. We have Alfred. Say hi to the people, Alfred.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Unrestrained podcast. Happy to be happy President's Day, man. Happy President's Today. We honor and salute Donald Trump as president. Thank you so much, sir, for your service.
All right. Well, I think it's President's Day, but isn't it also like Washington's birthday? Am I wrong about this? I
Yeah.
should know this. Let's see. Well, I guess since it's President's Day, it is Trump Day too. Then I guess we'll just call it that. But yeah, we got Abe over here helping us out. He was a little concerned because we got Alfred on quarantine because he's fighting influenza, and I have a superior immune system. I don't get sick, so I get symptoms, but I never really get sick. Like I might get a little cough, rarely. But yeah, I'm not those people, man. People that like they find out you're sick and they freak out and they want to get away from you. And then I tend to notice that those are the same people that get sick all the time. So I'm never worried about it, but I don't get sick. So I don't maybe it's a psychological thing. Is it maybe because I've always just exposed myself to sickness and therefore I've developed immunity because I just yeah, that's what the science says, right? Doesn't science say that if you expose yourself to like germs and viruses that your body will uh develop a stronger immunity towards those things. So I guess like that's what vaccines are supposed to be. But the natural way of vaccinating yourself is to just put yourself around all these germs and sicknesses, you know, and then you'll be good. So maybe as a kid, I would get sick a lot. Like I'd get the flu all the time, you know, in my toddler years. And yeah, maybe that's why. Maybe now I've just developed like a extremely strong immune system. So all this to say that Alfred he was about to cancel, and then because he has the flu, and I think he was more worried about the fact that maybe I was worried about getting sick, but I don't care.
Well,
Um,
no, I mean, realistically, I was just talking to Abe. I said, well, you know what? It comes, it's every year your body needs to naturally just get sick, and you just flush through it. And somebody was saying, I told them, oh, it could be the chemical trails, right? And then, well, lately we just had rain. Remember, guys, we had rain.
yeah.
So I was out there working in the rain for a little bit, and that could have done it, and so the body gets naturally, it's by nature you're going to get sick. But me, I never, I always try to protect everybody, so I'm always just kind of like, hey, this is what's going on, everyone. But
Well, that's the
I
problem,
didn't
Alfred.
know.
Yeah, but that's the problem, Alfred. Stop coddling people. Stop babying everybody, you know, and just hey, look, I went to work the other day. I did have a little bit of a nauseous situation where I ate something that, and that's another thing. I can eat rotten meat, man, and I still good to go. But I don't know, for some reason, man, I had a moment of weakness. I had some pizza kind of late, and oh man, it messed me up. And on Monday, I woke up just I barely made it to the restroom, and before I started, heaving.
Golly.
It was yeah, but then thought I was good. I went to work and I was like, I just was feeling really tired. But I think what it was is that I was nauseous all night and I just didn't get good sleep. So I was more
Right.
tired more than anything. So I went to the office for like an hour and then like I'm not feeling well. I'm gonna get out of here. Um, and then I slept the rest of the day, which was nice. This was last week. But anyhow, um, but yeah, guys, that last time I actually really was sick was in 2019 during COVID. I had COVID for 1 day and that was it. And this was before everything got shut down. So I have not been sick since. And before that, I couldn't tell you the last time I got sick. But anyways, um, we're gonna get into it, guys. Obviously, talk of the town, Elon Musk, the left, the big government, the rhinos, they're freaking out. The the yeah, man, the deep state is running. They're on the run. and nothing but W's for us, right? Nothing but wins, and the left is taking a lot of L's, and it's great. So we're gonna talk about Elon Musk. We're gonna talk about what he's found in the IRS. Uh, looks like this advocacy group, Common Cause, was trying to run an ad, and that attempt has failed, which pretty interesting. To attacking Elon Musk. Um, we had this looks like this former U.S. aid employee go on in 60 minutes, I guess, crying and whining. So it looks like reality is hitting them. Um, you know, these government employees are getting a taste of what the private sector goes through, has gone through for many times now because of the irresponsibility of government policies. So they're going to just get a little taste of that action. So we're going to talk about that. Um, we're going to talk about, yeah, some of Trump firing independent agency heads. Um, and they're freaked out about that too. So yeah, we'll go over all these things and also the plan for Ukraine. Trump, I guess he's got a payback plan, which I'm liking. I don't know if you looked into that at all, Alfred, but it looks like Trump wants to make wants to make it worth our while. All the billions of dollars that we spent in something that has no benefit to us whatsoever. Trump is trying to fix that issue and turn that into a positive for the American people. Because right now, it has not been a positive for us, right? Not only for the American people, but the people of Ukraine who've lost thousands and thousands of people um, fighting this war.
100%. And I think for the most part, we're starting to see a shift. I think for the most part, we've been seeing this happening. This is glorious for everybody that's in the conservative movement. This is something that Trump moved on, right? He said everybody should be taking care of their own severity, meaning like all their security, right? And
Yep.
I think the shift for Ukraine to be able, and you hear it, you saw Zelensky here just over a couple of days ago. He's out there now speaking to the European nations, saying, "Hey, something's got to give." Trump is gonna start, pretty much moving he's going to start pretty much saying what he said he was going to do, which was protect his own, bring back his funding out to America, and now he's over there scavenging, right? The grifter, as we know it. Now he's scavenging for the European nations to say, hey, come on, guys, somebody, you guys, we all gotta put up, right? But it's glorious. What you're talking about is glorious. And now we're starting to see that Trump, is having these negotiations with Russia, you
Yep.
know, that's getting Ukraine a little upset. But in a sense, Ukraine has not want to. They don't want to sit to the table unless it's somebody with Trump that has a power to be able to bring these two nations to the table and have a discussion. And I think we're seeing this. And Trump is already saying what he's going to do. If you don't want to give the minerals, here, we're going to pull the plug and we're going to have you figure it out. But at the end of the day, something's got to give. And I think smart on behalf of Trump.
Yeah, man. So yeah, guys. So we're streaming live right now on X, TikTok, and YouTube. And so this is our second time going live on our YouTube channel and on all these other platforms. And so, yeah, not bad. Me and Alfred were talking. Yeah, we got our little YouTube channel subscribership up. We're up to, I think what would you say, 100 subscribers, which is cool. Um, that's just going live in a week. And then yeah, it looks like our TikTok numbers are doing pretty good. And so is the X. So yeah, for 1 week, not bad, guys. So yeah, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, Unrestrained Podcast on YouTube. That's Unrestrained Podcast. I think it's the same. Is it the same, Alfred? Correct on X and TikTok?
Correct.
Yeah, Unrestrained Podcast. So yeah, guys, like, subscribe. We're here Mondays live at 7 o'clock on Mondays. And yeah, we're just, some guys here in Southern California just kind of giving our opinion on the news of the week or the day. So yeah, help us out, guys. We're on this goal to get to the White House, even though we're not a news platform. But I don't know, we can be for the day, right? Apparently, you just got to have like 100,000 views, and you can qualify to maybe go to the White House and join the press pool and ask a question. So help us out, guys. That'll be pretty cool. Um, all right, guys. So let's get into it here. The first thing I wanted to talk about is Doge. We've had the media, the Democrats, just hair on fire, crying that there's a constitutional crisis or potential constitutional crisis, right? Potential constitutional crisis, going to the courts, trying to sue, bring lawsuits to stall. And it's just amazing, guys. It's amazing the argument these guys are trying to make. I was watching one of the hearings on my way over here, and you have these Democrats talking about, these these um these public servants, guys. All these public servants, as if these people haven't been paid, have been overpaid with all the goodies, all the benefits. Guys like Alfred that get President's Day off, right? Alfred, I asked Alfred, I say, Alfred, you go to work today? And he's like, it's President's Day. And I'm like as if that means something. Like, what do you mean, bro? Oh, I forgot. You government employees and what do you work for? A nonprofit bankers? You know, those types, like my wife's a government employee too, relaxing. Any little holiday, guys, any little holiday, they don't have to work, right?
Yep, it's part of the education system, right? It's part of the education system. So I'm glad, I'm glad I'm putting my certificate into work where I get all these great holidays, and take advantage of them, right?
Yeah, the rest of us schmucks that pay, got to be out here generating tax revenue and all that stuff. No, we have to work on Monday. But I digress. On President's Day. But yeah, just messing with you guys. But yeah, so these public servants, poor people, these poor people, right? And Doge and how it's unconstitutional. But I'm sure you guys have found out that Doge is simply it's simply an agency that was renamed. Obama actually created Doge, right? And so we found out, I found out that this weekend. I don't know if you heard about this, Alfred. So I just kind of quickly right now pulled up this on E&E News. I guess it's a political page that's talking about how former engineer, a guy named was Dickerson, right? Mikey Dickerson, right? He was a former Google engineer hired by the Obama administration to help lead a tech revolution in the federal government. Was surprised when he learned that Musk would be launching a government slashing operation from the US Digital Service, right? Which apparently was created by Obama, um, which was it's just rebranded to be called Doge, right? Um, so yeah, there wasn't a problem then because guess what? Obama didn't they didn't really do anything, and so I'm sure you guys have seen some of these other viral videos where you have uh I think it was Bush Jr. and Bill Clinton also same scenario where they're coming in the office and appointing or just appointing people right from outside the government, unelected officials to go out and do exactly what Doge is doing, right? So either either these people were ineffective, all right, or maybe it's because the reason, did they actually go in and actually do audits and uncover things and they just never saw the day of light, right? Or was that just all BS, right? These guys went on TV and say, we're gonna have this guy and we're gonna start auditing and going in there and find fraud and abuse, and then they spent the whole time just playing golf and they never actually did anything, right? Regardless, the bottom line is they were ineffective. So because they were ineffective, these politicians on both the right and the left had no problem with that with those people. But now you have a problem with Trump. I mean, not Trump, but with Elon, because the man's actually out there finding things and doing what he said he's going to do, right? and that's a problem for the deep state, right? So these guys are so desperate. Apparently, this group called Common Cause, and I just hear on Wikipedia it says is a watchdog group based in Washington D.C. Apparently, they have 35 chapters. They were founded in 1970, and I guess originally was focused efforts on ending the Vietnam War and lowering the voting age from 21 to 18. Um, so this was a foundation by that was started by John W. Gardner, a Republican, who was Secretary of Health and Education and Welfare. Um, and so this group was trying to take an ad out on the Washington Post call said that was called "Fire Elon Musk." I guess it was that was an ad. So I don't know if you have a copy up there of the article, Abe. I think it's on the first tab um, that we have lined up there, but. The Hill, it talks about the group said that it had said it signed $115,000 agreement with with the Post to run the ad that would have covered the front and back page on Tuesday's paper, as well as a full page ad with the same theme inside the paper. It said it planned to purchase the ad in collaboration with the Southern Poverty Law Center Action Fraud, right? And so what ends up happening, I guess, so let me read this quote here. It says, the Constitution only allows for one president at a time. Call your senators and tell them it's time to Donald Trump fire Elon Musk. Um, it says followed by the URL firemusk.org. So they already got a URL set up, firemusk.org apparently. And so I guess the Post decided not to run the ad and provided this organization with no explanation. They basically just told them, we don't talk about internal decisions. So yeah, we don't know why they decided not to. On the other tab, Abe, there's a copy of the ad that we're going to run. Um, but one of the things now they're because I guess what's his name, Jeff Bezos owns um the I'm sorry, what was
Washington Post.
the Washington Post, right?
Correct.
So now they're making the claim that hey, Trump must have picked up the phone, called Jeff Bezos, and said, "Yeah, you're not running that ad," right? But yeah, let's check out the ad there. We got a picture of the ad that we're gonna run.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think to bring a little bit more context into this, I think you're onto something, Isaac, when you mentioned that Trump could have picked up, but to it all, man, I think smart, Trump and Musk by repurposing the USDS, they pretty much took a step further in removing the red tape in regards to hiring, new members or new people into this agency, right? And so that allowed them to grant access to all these digital things. And for the most part, you guys know that the U.S. government, the IT infrastructure is, it's some of the stuff it's outdated, right? It's out of control. And we're finding out that some of the things that are happening, it was a post attack internally from all these agencies, and this ad here that you're seeing is something that they were about to run. So I agree with you. I think there is something that Trump might have done, made a phone call. They found out about it, and that's what the reason why this ad is not getting pulled.
yeah, who knows? We don't know why. I'm glad it's not running. It's stupid, right? If you look at the ad, it says, "Who's running this country, Donald Trump or Elon Musk?" Since day one, Elon has created chaos and confusion and put our livelihoods at risk, and he is unaccountable to no one but himself, right? Which is just the most ridiculous thing. Okay. It's so absurd that okay. It's so absurd because the premise is that he's acting like if he was the president of the United States, right? The president of the United States would not be the one actually going in and doing the audits. That is not what presidents do. The presidents are the boss. They tell people to go do that. They direct people. Go audit that agency. Go do this. Go do that. Right? So it it doesn't even make any sense that they're trying to make it. They're claiming that because Elon Musk is going in and auditing all of these institutions at the direction of the actual president, that he's basically like the president, right? That he's accountable to no one, as if he's not accountable to the actual president of the United States, Donald Trump. He's accountable to him, right? And who's Donald Trump accountable to? The people who elected him, us, the people. We gave him the mandate, you know? So it's like a losing argument for the Democrats. They refuse to accept this. And when you hear these hearings and you hear them talk about these, like, well, we have, and we'll get in this, later on the podcast, but you have all these great peoples whose job it is to go out and audit and make sure and to save money for the American people, right? But obviously, they haven't been doing a great job, which is why they're getting fired. If they were doing such a great job, we would not be hearing about these absurd expenses that are being uncovered by Elon Musk, which we'll get into that in a bit.
Correct. Yeah, no, no, 100%. And I think for the most part, you guys know that a couple of just roughly about 3 days ago, there was an interview with Hannity, right? And in this interview with Hannity, I believe one of the things that was mentioned in the interview was actually Donald Trump and Elon Musk talking about specifically something like this would potentially happen. They said, in quote, they said that they can't believe how outrageous that the media is running with this story in regards to trying to pin both Elon Musk against each other, saying who's in charge or who's not in charge. And I think this brought up the clarity, and I think this could have been the trigger point for the media just to say it's not going to work. And again, I'm with you, Isaac. Sometimes it's a good thing that it got stopped, because it made certainly no sense whatsoever for the media to try to pin Donald Trump and Elon Musk, because it's not working. And I think their narrative is falling apart completely. And we're seeing them just beat out the media in any given turn. Every time the media tries to do something, boom, it's like Donald Trump comes out. Like, for example, with this year, this was going to be launched pretty soon. Boom, 3 days ago, we had the Hannity interview saying specifically what they were about to do, and how outrageous and how did not make any sense for them to try to do this. Because at the end of the day, these two guys are solid. They understand what needs to happen. And I think that's one of the things that the left and the establishment cannot grapple with, that they cannot, they can't pin each other, pin these two guys against each other, because at the end of the day, they're collating and making it happen for the American people.
Yeah, and so let's just remember, guys, that the same people that for 4 years told you that Joe Biden was a genius, was so energetic, best president in history, right? The same media that told you that the vaccines would stop you from getting COVID, right? The same people, the same media, not just the same media, the same group. Okay. So when I say group, I'm going to say that includes the media and the politicians, the same people. Those same groups are the same people that have lied. We can go back time and time again and cite every single lie that they've said, right? Every single lie. Okay. That what masks work? Oh, wait, they don't work. Right. 17 days to slow the spread turned into a year, right? The same people that told us weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Again, right? The same. I mean, they've been wrong every time. The same people that told you that Donald Trump was not going to win in 2016 and he had no chance of winning and would never be president, those same people, right? I mean, we can keep going, guys. We can keep going, lie after lie after lie, that They come back and they give you some excuse, right? They gaslight their base, which thank God many people have woken up from it. Those are the same people telling you right now that Elon Musk is some rogue, uh, dangerous entity, right? Which, by the way, he has had I didn't even know this. I didn't think cross my mind until I heard it today, which obviously makes sense that he's had uh, secret oh gosh security clearance, right?
Mhm.
For years
Yes,
because he's
correct,
a defense contractor. So
correct.
the federal government obviously deemed him trustworthy, right?
Mhm,
They vetted him, right? They vetted him, and now they claim that he works for Russia, but yet you gave him
mhm.
a security clearance though. So I mean either you're lying or or you screwed up really bad, and why aren't you pulling that security clearance then right now, right? Because you can't, because you don't have a basis to do it, right? You gave him a security clearance, and now we got to be and we're got to be worried about him. All these years, he's had every opportunity to destroy America and betrayed us and commit treason, but we're worried about him looking at social security numbers, I guess, which is not even something he'd have access to. But I go back to what I said the last podcast. Why would you be concerned about the richest man in the world getting into the identity fraud business all of a sudden? You know, like
Correct.
all of a sudden he's gonna get into the identity fraud. He's gonna take your social security now and commit identity fraud, guys. He's gonna take out credit cards under your name and mortgages and loans and whatever manageable, like as if he needs to do that, right? But the ad says the Constitution only allows for one president at a time. And what? How often does the left, Alfred, anytime you make an accusation about or you bring up a legitimate concern, like for example, election concerns, right? Election F word, right? Um, what they respond right away. What evidence do you have?
Right,
So
right.
what evidence have they presented that Elon Musk is committing fraud or that he's even a president? They're claiming he's a president, Alfred. They're saying the Constitution only allows for one president. So you're saying there's two? I mean, when did Elon become president? Who made this claim? What
Well, see,
evidence do they have?
right. Well, you see and that's one of the things that we're learning as we continue to see this whole saga unveiled. This is what the left does. When they're pinned against a true reality that they cannot control one person. Now they got two people that can't control. Number one, they can't control Donald Trump, right? And now they can't control Elon Musk. And so the best thing to do is to propagate, to spread misinformation. Remember, they're known to do this. In fact, every time we see this, time after time, where when we see people going out there, who do we see? Who do we see out in the rallies and protests? Like Maxine Waters, all these people going into all these locations trying to say that they're going after the school the school board. I mean the school the education board, right? Now we're starting to see that they're going after the Social Security, the IRS. Who is out there screaming in the top of their lungs? The
Yeah.
Democrats. These are the people that are known to be taken advantage or to take full control or to be in these entities or in these active powers, right? To these agencies to receive some sort of funding for whatever they're doing. And so, I mean, I posted something on TikTok just a couple hours ago with House Speaker, ex-House Speaker Gingrich, what he said, the problem that we're seeing right now with the Democrat Party is we're starting to see the true reality of them, seeing their slash funds, aka all these fundings that are being removed that were being used for their own purpose. They were using
To
some of
enrich
some
themselves.
yeah, they were using some of these funding to really use it against who? Against their foes. and we're known, and it's known now, and we're starting to see it clearly.
Yeah, man. It is, so I went to go do my taxes on Friday, and, thank God I broke even. But but meaning that I don't have to send them anything, and it's ridiculous, guys. Um, I don't have to send them anything, and they took enough apparently, right? Um, you had to pay. Abe had to pay. Freaking ridiculous, right, Abe? Did you have to write a check?
Probably did.
Yeah, you're gonna have to send a check. Yeah. See, Abe, it's funny because Abe doesn't want to be on the podcast, but look at him talking right now. We gotta put a, we gotta put a microphone. We gotta
We
put a
do got to put
microphone
a
in his mouth.
microphone in there.
But if you've ever written a check, right? So here's the thing: if people actually wrote, for those of you that don't write checks, I think because a lot of people they get like a return, or I don't know. I don't know if it's a lot. I have no idea, right? But there's people out there that get a return, and they get all like, I got money back. I'm getting money back, right? It's just you overpaid. You overpaid, so they took too much, and now you're getting the balance, right? Which is good. That's fine. But what does it say there? A majority of taxpayers do end up with a tax refund. About two-thirds returns, which is 64%, filed in 2024 resulted in a tax refunds, right? So yeah, that's 64% of the population, right? Or not population of people who filed, right? And that's according to the IRS. So yeah, that's more than half of the people that file taxes, they get a check. So, I kind of look at that like it's kind of like a false. Um,
Positive.
oh yeah, like it just. Look, I think I bet you if we change the system where instead of just imagine at the end of the year, rather than them taking taxes from your check, because how often do you even look to see how much they're taking? Like nobody gets a check anymore, right? Like I haven't looked at a pay stub in years. Okay, that money just goes into my account, right? So I cannot tell you, you know, I could be getting ripped off. Hopefully, Elon Musk figures it out. For all I know, they're taking too much Social Security, but I don't, you know, I could be paying child support for some kid I don't. It's not really mine in error, and I wouldn't even know. But what I'm saying is, um, that I don't look at it, and most people don't, right? But I bet you that if instead of them taking money out of your check, if you actually two things, if you actually had to send a check yourself or send the payment yourself, right? Not automatic, where you saw it coming out of your checking account, or let's say at the end of the year, they tallied up and they said, okay, you made X amount of dollars, you owe the government X, pay up, right? That would totally piss people off more, right? They would be way more aware about taxation and how big of a difference it's making on your paycheck. Does that make sense? It's almost like I'm sure everybody's been through this. Like I'm kind of struggling right now with like the fact that I need to get another car, but I don't like debt. So hopefully here, fingers crossed, guys, pray that I can get something that I want in cash. Almost there. Um, but the discipline is tough, because if I were to have to get a payment, I haven't had a car payment in years, you know? So we've all gone through this psychological thing where you're like, oh man, that payment, you just stress over it because you don't want it. Then you make a couple payments and it's like whatever. It's like when you first bought a house and you
Mhm.
found out you're gonna have to pay, I don't know, whatever people pay. I think here in California, I bet you, I mean, I bought my house years ago, but you're gonna look it up, babe. I bet you I'm gonna guess the average mortgage payment is for a new home buyer is probably $2,500 a month. Let's
Yep.
see if I'm right. I'm gonna say it's like $2,500 a month. S What is it? Does it say?
Yeah,
What?
it's about that.
Wait, in California? What did you come up with? Oh, you have? You're looking, Abe? Abe's looking, he's saying.
Yeah,
It's
it's
so
about 20. Yep, it's 25 to yeah, 25 to 31.
So I was right on, right? Yeah,
Yep.
see?
Yeah.
Yeah, so think about those people, man, like 2,500 a month. That's a
And
lot,
plus, and
dude.
then that's just for the mortgage, right?
Yeah, that's just your mortgage. But again, all of you who have a home now, right? Okay, I'll put it like this. When I first bought my home, my mortgage payment, okay, my mortgage payment was like 1,200 bucks a month,
Yeah.
right? And I was like, man, $1,200 a month. That's the biggest payment I've ever. I mean, that's still to this day, right? I mean, so you're home and and what? Oh yeah, but yeah, your grandparents, yeah. But my point being here is that you get conditioned. That's what all this to kind of get finish. My point is that now it's like my mortgage payment is not even a factor in my like it's nothing, right? So that's kind of what's happened to us with taxes, guys. It's like we're just so we've been so programmed to be slaves, you know? And this whole time and now we're just it's hitting us like a rock, like a truck in the face of what the government has done with the money that we give them, you know? And and that's what I was getting at, right? Is that we're slaves, you know? And um we should be thankful that Elon and his team, Elon himself not getting paid, is out there and discovering all of these things. And even um, for those that hate him, you're gonna benefit. The sad thing is that you don't even realize that Trump and Doge are able to accomplish which what they've already done some good things and get rid of all of this. You know, when they talked about last week that they can probably cut the budget by $1 trillion, guys, $1 trillion. I heard today that every taxpayer, we're in debt for every taxpayer. It's like $350,000. Do I have that right, Abe? You might want to look that up. I think it's $350,000 in debt. So for our, you know, the our deficit, our debt per, let's say, I think it'd be per 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 person, per taxpayer.
I
I
think it's 100. I believe it's 107,000.
Is it 107,000? No, I
A
heard
hundred. Yep.
350. That
A
sounds, yeah.
hundred and 7,000. So I guess it's at the so
National, you wanna see the national debt. National debt per person. Try
oh,
that.
got you. Okay.
So
I was
Google
just
that.
saying,
National debt burden per person. So try that.
right. That's excluding what we already pay, right? Because we some of us already paying,
Okay, so in July 29th of 2024, the US, this is according to AI Overview. As of
Mhm.
July 29th, 2024, the US national debt per person was $104,497. This is based on a gross national debt of 35 trillion.
Wow.
Okay? Okay. Well, that's still 104,400. I mean,
I
that's
mean, let me ask you this though. Let me ask you this. I mean, is every taxpayer, every taxpayer can afford to give $104,000 right now, currently, as we sit right now.
well, okay, let's just assume a person that makes $100,000, that's a whole year worth of wages. That's just the debt. That's just the debt. Okay. That doesn't account for like the non-debt, what we still have to fund, right? Social
Mhm.
Security, Medicare, the military spending, all that other stuff, right? So that's just the debt. That's just what we owe as for the debt portion, right? The 35 trillion. So anyhow, all this to say is that we're finding out that we shouldn't have it. We've been overspending. We've known this, but it's so infuriating the pushback that you're getting from the opposition, you know, claiming that they're looking that this is going to cause us all kinds of harm, which like it just doesn't even make any sense. But but yeah, guys. So moving on here to Natalie Winters, right? So Natalie Winters, I guess there was a 60-minute video of a woman who worked for US Aid. And let me, oh, did I? Let me see what I did with that. Yeah, so I guess her name is Samantha Powers, who served under Samantha. Wait, she's yeah, she served as an admin in for the USA. So she's one of the people who've been released. Yeah, not that one yet. But yeah, have that ready. So Natalie Winters, she I guess she wrote exposed on X that this woman is a total Trump hater. So this woman, I guess she was on 60 Minutes, and we're supposed to feel sorry for this chick, right? 60 Minutes put it on here, like, again, it goes back to like this whole like I'm supposed to feel so bad for these public servants, you know. I'm supposed to feel sorry for them. And yes, I mean, with that said, it does suck for anybody to lose their job. Definitely, right? I don't wish that upon anybody, to be honest with you. Okay, that's as a I think as a man, as somebody who's a provider for their home, it is definitely um, something that I can be very sensitive to. I can totally appreciate. I don't want anybody losing their job, right? But it's a fact of life, guys. People lose their job apparently unless you work for the federal government up until now, right? Everybody wants to work for the federal government because it's been a basically like a guaranteed job. But we can't afford it anymore, guys. Not only can we not afford it, it's unjustified, right? But this woman, they put her on 60 Minutes as she's just some, you know, nonpartisan, poor victim of this evil Doge and Trump's policy that's just going around and firing people willy nilly with no justification, right? But I guess this woman, she on her personal blog, she called Trump supporters or Trump himself a reincarnation of Mussolini and Hitler, and she said she wanted to, I quote, eliminate his supporters, right? Eliminate his supporters. So who are his supporters, right? Obviously, the majority of America who elected him into office because, again, he won the majority vote, right? So she wants to eliminate the majority of America. That's what she wants. Do we want these kind of people working in these government positions? Like, no, you know? And then you have the media go out and say, oh, it's just because she doesn't like Trump. Yes, that's good enough. That's good enough. He's the boss. He is the person that we, the people, put into office to carry out our agenda. So, therefore, by her criticizing our representative that we put there in that position, right? By her view on him, no, that's not going to work. Okay. That's not going to work. Good. Try that at your company. Try that at your place of employment, right? Post and talk smack about your employer and see how that works out for you, right? Justifiably so, like you need to go. You need to go, right? Like, let's just use Disneyland for example. Okay. Disneyland, heavy indoctrination for their employee, right? You get hired at Disneyland. Anybody who knows somebody who's worked there, they'll tell you they go through a whole indoctrination process at Disneyland, right? They have certain values, certain principles they don't compromise in, right? This is Disneyland. And like, let's just say you're a character. You don't take that daggone little helmet off. You're in character. If you're the Princess Snow White, right? And you're at the park, guess what? You're Snow White. That's what you are because that's what I said you are, right? And if you have these people talking smack about Snow White and how they don't need to do this and or being insubordinate, like wouldn't you think they probably shouldn't work at Disneyland? They probably need to be fired, right, Alfred?
100%. 100%. I think what we're starting to see is, I mean, this is something that's been given from 60 Minutes, right? These are the people that continue that they did a complete edit on Kamala Harris. I mean, think about it. During the time that she's getting elected, they modified the whole, not only Kamala Harris, but they also modified some of the things that Trump was saying in regards to Joe Biden. So 60 Minutes is known to push these narratives, this left leaning or left center narratives, because again, they dislike Donald Trump. So, yes, what we're trying to see is we're starting to see a growth of desperation from the other side, or the left lean or left center or the Democrat Party. And they're starting to see their whole empire crumble. But remember, they were the ones who kept on pushing for this dismantling of the system, right? And now
Yep.
that we have somebody who's doing it, now they're up in arms and saying, "Oh my goodness, he's trampling our democracy," right?
Right.
But yet again, they were the ones who propagated this idea that our system needed to be toppled, right? The system wasn't sustainable. But now the American people are starting to see that the current system now is unsustainable. $104,000, for every American taxpayer to pay, and they keep on adding. This is how much they keep on adding to the debt. That's $104,000 that each and one of us taxpayers have to pay to the national debt, and that's discouraging for any taxpayer. Like, geez, we're living day to day. I have to pay taxes on food, taxes on my taxes. I have to pay taxes on taxes. And think about it. Now we're starting to see that now as $104,000 on debt, it's not sustainable. So now we're happily to see that the system is getting dismantled, and Elon Musk and Doge are just pretty much opening the books and saying, "Look, this is what's going on here. This is what's happening," and the left are having a hard time grappling with it.
Yeah, so here's some quotes, guys, because I just want you guys to understand who this person is, right? This is the person that was on 60 Minutes, and we'll play the clip in a little bit, but before we do that, just so you guys have her in the proper context, right?
Mhm.
This is part of her quotes. He reminds us of a reincarnation of Mussolini or pre-genocidal Hitler, if not pre-war Milosevic, without so on and so on. And it says and is lauded just as they were. She continues. She then calls to eliminate his supporters. We talked about that, smearing them all racist, sexist, misogynist, and homophobic. Okay. She says she's quoted saying, "If your argument to support Donald Trump is that he says it like it is, or some of his stuff makes sense, he says what everyone else is afraid to say. Congratulations, you're probably a racist, right?" So I guess I'm a racist because I've actually said those things. I mean, is he? Does he not say it the way it is? Does he not say things that everyone else is afraid to say? I mean, are you going to make the argument that those are not actually true things? That it's just people say that because they're just racist? It's absurd, right? She goes on to say, or sexist, or misogynist, or homophobic, or classist, or I don't even know what this word is. Ableist. So we're an enabler. You represent the problem we are trying to eliminate, right? So this is somebody in government, right, saying that those of us that agree with those things, we're the problem she's trying to eliminate. Okay, keeping this in mind, guys. This is somebody from the U.S. aid saying these things. Okay, she's saying that about you, right? You and me, right? We are the problem. Okay, so we're supposed. This is a public servant. This is our servant saying this about us. Okay, you represent. This is what she says. She's still being quoted. You represent the privilege we keep talking about. Okay. I don't know. Again, look at me, guys. I am exactly, and I'm sure I can speak for you as well, Alfred, right? You're exactly what we fall under these people that she's citing, right? We meet her criteria of the people she is saying need to be eliminated, right?
Correct.
We need you and I, Alfred, and every one of our friends and family members need to be eliminated. And somehow we have some sort of privilege. Again, this is a public servant, supposedly, okay? This is the people we're supposed to feel sorry for, okay? In January 2017, Peace, she discussed Trump's death and claimed he had no empathy. I'm sorry, Trump's. Wait, what does that mean? In January 2017, in a piece, she discussed Trump's death. Trump's death. Okay. I don't know what context that was in, and claimed he had no empathy and gives power to hate. Okay. She says that he is in violation of nepotism and emu- emo emoluments laws, which I don't know what those laws are. Somebody can educate me, and almost every other imaginable conflict in interstate legislation. Okay, so all of a sudden she's a lawyer, I guess. Um, and what I wanted to read here is there's a section, I think I might have passed it, okay, where she's talking about, let's see, I think it's on top. Um, Hold on, let me find it. She was upset, she says, because um before when Doge came into office, okay, I'm sorry, it's gonna be on the other article. I thought it was on this one, but let's play the clip and we'll get into that because there's something interesting. So this is the clip, guys. This is her 60-minute section, and you and I are supposed to feel really sorry for this person. Oh, what's that sound? Oh, okay.
In the chaotic shutdown of foreign aid distributed by the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID. More than 8,000 USAID employees were sent home by the administration.
They're not looking for competency. They're not looking for if you're good at your job. They're looking for pure loyalty tests. And if you don't give it, you will be punished.
And they had to leave the building. And these are folks who had decades and decades of public service serving USAID across administrations, from, George Bush to Obama to the first Trump administration. And they were never able to walk back in the building again.
There was no process. No one explained to them why they were being relieved.
To my knowledge, they received an email, and then if they didn't leave the building, they were escorted out of the building.
Yeah, so like you guys heard the
Oh,
guys
goodness.
that they didn't consider competency. What did he say? Effectiveness, those sort of things. That it was a loyalty test. We just talked about
Yeah,
that, right? I have no problem with the loyalty test. We just discussed why, right?
exactly.
But they're making it seem like like again, they put it in a context of like Hitler. If I tell you to go kill those Jews, you need to kill those Jews, right? Like, yet again, Trump was elected by the people. He won the majority vote, electoral vote, all of those, everything he's doing, he said he was going to do. Every bit of it. He's keeping that promise the mandate that we gave him. Okay. So, yes. Not only should there be a loyalty test to what the will of the people, me and Alfred here and Abe, okay, us normal common folk out here that are paying the taxes want done, the mandate we gave him. If you don't meet that loyalty test, then you need to be out of there, right? And it's not like they even met any of the other criteria, like the competency test, right? Which we'll go over some examples, right? But again, they still haven't told you that it's a lie that condoms were being sent, that we were paying for condoms. The only thing they said is that they weren't going to terrorists. Okay. Oh, okay. Sorry, got that one wrong. It's okay then. Okay. Glad to know they weren't going to terrorists. So let's go ahead and just keep spending billions of dollars on condoms and sex changes and propaganda and toppling other governments.
Right. The funny thing about this whole thing is, as we're sitting and you're providing context to who this person is. I mean, if you look at, there's actually a website. It's called Doge Dash Tracker. It provides a complete. It tells you exactly what is happening. Talking about transparency, and I'm going to see if Abe lets me pretty much drive a little bit. Well, if you guys look at this, Doge dash tracker, it provides you a whole overview. It gives you an overview of what, who is the perpetrator of all this. The Department of Treasury with 1.91 billion saved, and that's some of the things that look. The Education Department, 1.44 billion dollars saved. See, so when you start looking at all these major things that they're uncovering, they're giving you step by step, what, by each day, how much money that they're saving. If you look at the categories, it'll tell you on the workforce. They're dividing it by everything. So whoever does not, if you look at of 60 Minutes, and you're listening to this person, known to hate, left leaning, known to hate Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you're looking at the facts, you're starting to see a complete different picture what Doge is doing, and this is why they're hating him. This is why they need to send in, the Marxists and the activists, right?
Right.
They got to activate the activists that are already in these, places of work,
Yeah.
and that's why you're starting to see.
Yeah, yeah, good point. Is that you putting the screen up there, Alfred? So what was it on, or
Just
whose is that? Okay, so go to the top. What was the number? This thing is pretty sweet. I actually haven't gone in
yeah,
there.
it tells you. So this is
$49
if you
billion dollars tax dollars saved, guys. This is
Yep,
thi I mean, and it's only been a week.
correct.
Wait, no, I'm sorry. It's been a month, right? 30
Hmm.
days, and we're at 49 billion. And this girl wants me to worry about, she's a speechwriter. So let me just read this. This is the part that they don't play here on the clip. I don't know if it's on the full interview, but let me just read this paragraph. Christine Dry, who served under USAID Administrator Samantha Power during the Biden administration, expressed dismay by the economic realities awaiting for former agency employees outside the federal government payroll. Her appearance comes after Elon Musk's Department of Doge effectively dismantled the USAID early February after a review of agency programs revealed billions in spending on wing, left wing, especially pro LGBTQ social initiatives abroad. Okay, that's that is what their existence was, and she was a speechwriter, guys. So we really need a speechwriter now? Well, we don't need her anymore. Go do something else. Um, and you guys heard her talk about they got rid of him overnight, but I'm trying to find in here. I was reading it this morning. Okay, let me get to it right here. It's good right here, where she says that says, hold on.
As you're looking for that, Isaac, I'm showing everyone
Uh-huh.
this web page, and if you look at one of the tabs, it says what WTF, and it pretty much, look at how smart these people are. They put wasteful instead for me. If you like, what the f, when you hear that word, but here, they switched it up to wasteful taxpayer funding. And look, these are the ones that they're as you look for that. Look, did you guys know that we were spending $3 million on a contract to test wild horses and donkey vaccines? And that was active. It would take an effect 3 million. Imagine $3 million in 2025. We were going to give, somebody to test out, vaccines and wild donkeys and horses. Who
Yeah.
needs to do that? Who needs to do that?
Yeah, man, I can't find there. Okay, so I was reading where she was quoted saying, I'm gonna have to paraphrase because now I can't find which article I read, but she was like, they fired us even though, you know, before Doge came in, we took down all the LGBTQ flags, and they got rid of all of the books, okay? All of the books that she felt probably could be incriminating. Like that's what she said. that that's what she said. Okay. So, oh man, I wish I could find her exact words, but it was on the article I was reading before. And so she's saying, like, yeah, they fired us, even though it's kind of like your kid, even though I cleaned my room and everything, right? I still got in trouble. It's like, wait, well, why did you even that they're so tone deaf that the fact that you're admitting that you had LGBTQ flags in the office, right? And apparently you had some books that you had to get rid of because they potentially were inappropriate, right? I mean, that what does that tell us, guys? So doesn't why would you even have anything like this? Like, we don't pay you public servants. Sounds to me like the claims that you guys were just a bunch of activists um is true, because you're already confessing these things, right? And
Well,
what books do you have? You
I
know?
mean, 100%. But if you look at this, if she's considered a policy writer, well, look at a lot of the policies that are getting written. I mean, for the most part, you start understanding. Look, transgender is specific, different before the HIV. I mean, there's another one in here that just talks about, look, anything that has to do here, address disparities among lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer. Like, bro, like a lot of this stuff has to do with more left leaning. Look at this one: improve services and well being of the LGBTQ child welfare, 20 million, 400 for that. Like, look, USAID, South Sudan, gender awareness, sustainable water. Why do we have to pay 40 million for Sudan's transit? These people are all Muslim. You know,
Yeah.
what do you think they really
USA
care?
South Sudan gender aware sustainable water.
Yes.
Gender aware what the hell is that? What is
Well, I
gender
told,
aware sustainable water?
yep,
Sanitation.
as soon as I clicked on it, it actually tells you to it takes you to exactly what it is. And look,
Oh,
it gives you the overview. This is the USDA spending.gov. It provides you the contract, right?
yeah.
It
So
gives
remember
you,
when they tell you there's no evidence, right? They tell you
right?
there's no evidence. Go to the Doge website. We're showing you right now. How many
Exactly.
times have we heard the left saying that Doge is saying all these things and there's no evidence? You can go to the website. Pretty damn good detailed information here, right?
Correct.
I mean, that's
It
pretty
gives
damn good.
It
And
gives you the detail of the contract. It gives you what's the intent. What for 17.4 million outlaid amount, and it gives you the obligated amount, and it gives you to the totaling of $40 million,
yeah,
and it gives you the whole. This is the whole contract or what they're trying to do. But the reality is this: that it's going to this agency, right? And it's telling you exactly for what's the
yeah, the
intent for.
receipt, what the receipt was paid to DT Global Incorporated. You know what?
Exactly.
So Alfred, this is what's crazy, bro. This is so impressive because okay, at my company that I'm at right now, for 2 years, I've been there for 2 years, okay? And to get reports like this made,
Correct.
like this website and what you're looking at right now, this report, we we 2 years we've been trying to get our project managers, they and these guys did it have done in a month. Put like anybody who's in kind of business or management where you have to create reports and dashboards, and you go to the IT department, it's like, hey, I want visibility for this data. Good luck. Good luck getting one. Right. I mean, are you doing anything about this, Abe? Good luck. Yeah, like to get and what you're showing me here, bro, is like, bro, Doge has got a freaking squad. Like they they put this together and they're putting all this data and they did this in 30 days. I'm
Yep.
guessing. I don't know. I mean, do I think that they started this before? I don't think so. Is it possible? Let's just say, because remember, Elon didn't go MAGA until Trump got shot in the year, right?
Yep.
So When was that? Was it,
That was in
was it
June.
Was it June?
Was it June 14? Let me see. I'm looking.
Let's just say it was June. It wasn't past that. That's for sure. Okay, guys. Let's just assume that the day after, that's the soonest Elon could have started working on this or gotten somebody to get this system.
July 13th. Sorry about that. July 13th.
July 13th. Okay. So obviously this is probably a platform he uses now for his other businesses, this reporting platform.
Right.
But you still have to integrate all the all of the reporting to upload all this data into this I'm going to call it a dashboard because that's what I'm used to calling them, into
Yep.
this report for us to view it. You get what I'm saying?
Correct.
Like that's crazy, man. But
Like, well, the good thing about this, man, is like, and this is why they hate, because you have a group of people that are coming together and just putting it together. I mean, not only that, man, you got people in the back end that are working just to connect all this stuff. But look, the Doge website has, you click on every single thing and it takes you to the contract. It takes you how much it's going to be, what's going to be,
yeah,
everything in detail. It even gives you an overview of which one have completed. So look, these are all the ones that we completed, we eliminated, right? Unfortunately, some of these are, you can't really, really just, you can't backtrack it because it's after Trump taking office. But look, at for the most part, you start seeing some of these wasteful things that they had in there. Look, we had here Department of Defense spending on cat experiments. What is that all about,
yeah,
right? Look,
yeah, it's
we have
crazy.
look, USA aid spending on Sesame Street in Iraq, 20 million? Really?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
really?
yeah. Well, go in there, guys. We could spend all day on that. So let's. But
Yep.
I did find the quote I was looking at. So this is what she said. I quote. Okay, I quote. Absolutely heartbreaking. This is what this woman said. Um, she said, absolutely heartbreaking. People who have given decades of their work, this kind of this work. I don't know if she's misspoke. I mean, they've given their lives. She said, Joe Doge was in the building. We took down our pride flags. I took out any books I thought would be incriminating. This is her saying this. Okay, no one was talking. Okay, so she's describing when Doge came in, they scrambled and they started taking down their pride flags, and she took out any books that she felt were incriminating. What books? I mean, what books do you have in your office that you like? Why would you have any books that, under any context, would be viewed as incriminating? Incredible. So, yes, guys, this is, thank God, these people. And no, I don't feel sorry for her. You lived off our taxpayer money, and all these people made a lot of money, guys. So you better have, if you did not have an emergency fund, I can't, you weren't making minimum wage. Okay. These people weren't making minimum wage. So the sob stories about how are they going to pay their health care and how they're going to pay for this now. Well, if you did not have an emergency fund, I really, that's self-responsible. I don't know what to tell you. If you worked at McDonald's or like a low paying job, I can understand because it's hard for you to save and build up an emergency fund. But none of you people in the US aid were in that kind of position. So no, I don't feel sorry for you. If you can't pay for next month's bill, that's because you're not responsible with your cash.
100%.
So
I
that's what I
mean,
got about that.
100%. I think for the most part, we're starting to learn that this is the reason why 60 Minutes needed to bring in somebody quickly, right? Because I guess the facts are so much it's so incriminating that right now somebody should be in jail. I mean, just think about it. USA Aid was actually funding terrorism in Africa. You know what I mean? I mean, they were funding the Boko Haram, which carried out terror attacks in Nigeria, Cameroon, Niger. These are people that were out there, you know, pretty much, creating all these attacks. Well, USAID funded these people, and like I said, uh, you know, somebody should be going to jail for this, man. And I think that's one of the reasons why they're, they're going into a huge panic
Well,
mode.
Alfred,
They can't.
see, the problem is you got your priorities wrong. You're worried about funding terrorism and, you know, uh, dismantling governments and all this crazy stuff. You need to be more worried about the fact that these people are not going to be able to have a job. That's really what we need to be worried about, apparently, right? Forget about the terrorism and all that other stuff. Or how about this? Social security fraud, right? MSN, right?
Mhm.
On MSN.com, social security fraud, nearly 1.5 million Americans listed as over 150 years old, 1,041 over 220 years old. Okay. So apparently, we have these people, guys. Where are these people? Okay. The database, it says Elon Musk in his crack team at the Department of Doge has been scoring federal data for signs of waste, fraud, and abuse. They may have found something massive in the Social Security Administration, right? So on Sunday, Musk via X, he I guess he posted a list of the database, the Social Security database, who um, shows people that are getting, or they have it up there. I mean, look at this, guys. The age ranges. Do you have it up there? I mean, apparently, guys, we have where are these people? So I get that column on the left is the age range, right? And then the number of people, which is weird. So what is that? 0 to 9? There's people that are between 0 to 9 years old getting uh Social Security. There's what, 38,825, or is that 38 million? That's 38,825,456 under 9-year-olds getting some sort of Social Security check, which I don't know maybe there's an explanation for that. But how do you explain, like, there's somebody out there, guys, that's between 360 and 369 years old. Like, where is this person? Right? I think it said on here that means there's people that are alive from like the Civil War. Like that person is uh was around for the Civil War. Yeah, it
I
says
mean, I'm shocked to see that there's people there that's 220, 220 to 229 years. I mean, where are they? These people should be in the Guinness Book of Records, recognized every year, and we know about them every year here in the United States. Because remember, these people should be getting Social Security from here in the United States. Okay.
yeah, so it says that, yeah, so 180, more than 180, and yeah, so that the yeah, they mean how many did they show? 180 to 1 and 229 years old. How many people fell under that bracket? Because those people were here during during the Civil War. So what was
Yep.
that? What, between 180 to 229, right? So yeah, so you have 6,000. I don't know if you can add. I'm not that great at math, but over 6,000 people. So 6,600. So say 7. That gets you around 7,000 people. So somewhere in 7,000 people were here before the Civil War, guys. How cool! Why don't we have these people on 60 Minutes? Why are they not on 60 Minutes? What cool stories to hear from these 200 over 180-year-old individuals that can tell us like all the things that they've seen.
Right.
Uh,
I'm more concerned with I want to be able to hear what from the ages from 220 to 229. There's 1,039 people that are still alive. I want to hear their story. I mean, this is 220. These are people between the ages of, I think, 200 years. Bro. This is this is these are 200 years ago, man.
yeah,
There's
guys.
1,000 people. There's 1,039 people still living that are 220 to 229 years of age. I want to know who they are.
Yeah. Yeah. It's again, guys. So remember, they're telling us that we've been firing people that guys, they've been doing this. They've been doing this. You're this is a simple task, guys. How do you excuse this? Like, do you guys all have these people? I actually have somebody that I know. Okay, I'm not going to say too much because it might get to this person. But I have somebody that I deal with every single day. Okay, and it's one of those people that you would show they don't question anything, no critical thinking skills. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
no critical thinking skills. So we must have a bunch of people that work in government that have no critical thinking skills. That's one theory. They looked at that and can, just like the rest of us can look at that and say, wait a minute. How is it that we have somebody that is 300 and let me pull it up on my side. Over 300 years old, was here before the US even was founded, and you were to question him and say, hey there, Billy Bob. Like, why is this person still getting Social Security? Have you looked into this? What it says they're on there. It says they're 360 years old. That the paper says they're 360 years old. You know those kind of people I'm talking about, where they
Yep.
can't just look at it and question it and be like, wait, this doesn't make sense. You know, I have somebody like that, and it's very difficult. And I'm just wondering now because those people exist. I have somebody like that. Those people exist, and they all must work also at the U.S. aid, right? They because this is nothing new. This is nobody looked at this list, or they did look at the list and never questioned how does this make any sense. You know?
Correct. Yeah, I mean, this is why the reason why, you guys heard this, probably like about as soon as Trump took on office. Remember, we had people on the other side were screaming on the top of their lungs that they were coming for your Social Security. Remember that, right? Remember, many of us heard this, and I seen this in the news when people were saying, "Hey, be careful, everyone! They're coming after your Social Security number, after your Social Security benefits." No, in fact, you're starting to learn they're coming after fraud that's being implemented by the government into the Social Security system. Now, can you guys imagine if this is just something that we're finding out? Well, think about what's going to happen with Medicare, Medicaid. It's going to be it's going to be a game changer. You're going to start to see a lot more things that are going to be uncovered, and this is why the other side is hating it.
Yeah, so CBS News, right? Trump firing of independent agencies heads put 90-year-old Supreme Court president in crosshairs, right? So it goes to what we're talking about here, guys. We've seen all this craziness, right? We just talked about all of these people, the things that are coming to light, right? We went into the Doge website, you see the receipts, you see where the money's going to, right? But none of that's important, right? No, we need to be worried about all of these people that are being fired for some reason. That's what I, as a taxpayer, need to be more concerned about, right? So it says here on the CBS article, President Trump firing of the members of independent agencies and boards have prompted a string of legal fights that could set the Supreme Court up to reconsider and potentially overturn a 90-year-old decision that shields certain executive branch officials from being removed after political shifts in the White House. Since returning to the presidency, Mr. Trump has terminated the heads of the National Labor Relations Board and the Merit System Protection Board, as well as the director of the Office of Government Ethics, which we talked about last week, and
Mhm.
the special counsel Hampton Dellinger, who oversees the office that investigates whistleblower complaints. The officials learned of their firing through emails that they had been removed from their respective positions at their agencies, according to court filings. But in subsequent lawsuit challenges, their removal from the office have alleged that Mr. Trump violated federal laws passed by Congress that created an agency and limited the presidents to removing their members only for cause in case of neglect of duty or malfeasance, right? So they could only neglect of duty, which I think we've made the case, right? That it's pretty obvious that people have neglected their duty. Number right? I mean, right? Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
No,
Or
you're right.
malfeasance,
Yep.
right? Um, go ahead, Alfred. Sorry.
No, it's one of the things that you're mentioning. I mean, those are very clear. Those are very clear causes that were created by who? By Congress. These are them saying, "Hey, you can only terminate these people unless number one, in case they neglected their duty, and the other part is malfeasances, which is what we're covering right now. All this fraud, all this stuff that is happening. I mean, all these things that are happening within their agencies. We're starting to see that they neglected their duties, and then, we're going to uncover some of the things by them neglecting their duties. What happens? The fraud, right? The all the things that goes behind the whole thing of neglecting the duties. I mean, Trump's got it in the bag, and of course, if you have a well balanced, Supreme Court, you're going to find out that, hey, he's in the right. He's the executive in chief, and he can terminate, uh, you know, government employees at any given time.
Yeah, and if so, I'm glad they're doing this because it needs to go to the Supreme Court, and this needs to be settled and rectified. And like we talked about in the previous podcast, if a court were to rule that the president of the United States does not have the authority to fire people, right? Like this, just for simply the fact that yes, they're not doing their job and they don't align with his agenda, that should be enough, right? Just like any other employer. Um, if they don't rule, then what power do we have? Can you leave the chat on? What power do we actually have? What does our vote even matter anymore? Right? That's that's the thing, guys. It makes no sense for anybody to make the argument. And if we do have any kind of policy that restricts the president of the United States to terminate any type of official, right? That falls under the administrative state, right? I'm not talking Congress people, I'm not talking elected officials, but any appointed person that's appointed by him or falls under their purview, then like the FBI, for example, right? All of these agencies, the if it doesn't matter. We have to, if there's any policy like that, it needs to be eliminated. It needs to be eliminated immediately. It needs to be overturned. It needs to be removed post haste, right? How do you justify having such a policy? Why would you be protecting a public servant? Because if then who were they serving? Who are they serving then? Right? If they're protected, who are they serving? Riddle me that, right? Um, yeah, the president said that he has said that heads of executive branch agencies should share the administration's objectives. Agreed, but the firings may have also been aimed at provoking these very legal challenges with the ultimate goal of addressing the question to the Supreme Court. 100% agree. The Supreme Court needs to weigh on this because I'm tired. I don't want to hear any more whining and crying from the left or the media making false claims, right? The quote says here, it really was kind of a matter of time before the test case made its way to the court, where the court would have a chance to overrule Humphreys Joe Alicia, a law professor at the Catholic University of America, told CBS News. So, yeah, I'm glad Trump's doing this. I total improvement from Trump 1. From his first administration, right? Total improvement. The other thing I was thinking about, Alfred, when they say, Trump, the Elon Musk, because he's such a big donor to Trump, right? That Trump is not going to hold Elon Musk accountable, right? In fact, you're not going to bite the hand that feeds you. But I guess the problem is Trump's not running for office anymore. What incentive does Trump have to be subordinate to Elon Musk? You know what I'm saying? Like zero, zero, guys. He's not running for re-election anymore. He he could totally just go tell Elon, go screw yourself, go kick rocks. I don't need your money anymore. He's already the president of the United States. What does he need Elon's money for at this point? Maybe for his third re-election campaign, his third term, maybe.
What you're starting to see, what you see here is something that everybody's uh, it's a good question to bring, right? There's nothing to lose. This is already his second term, right? He can no longer run, but we do see something that's very interesting in how he's creating a president, meaning a road, right? Establish a road for the Republican Party to actually conduct business with these kind of environments, right? We're starting to see. Remember, he's the one who's clearly has come after Mitch McConnell, who said if it would have been for him, Mitch McConnell would have given the Republican Party to the other side, which it makes sense. But we're starting to see that he's creating this whole notion of, hey, I got nothing to lose. I'm just gonna continue on path to make it, to make it worthwhile for the American people. At the end of the day, listen, as a moderate Democrat, whatever he is, right? Because we know he's not a conservative. We know that he can swing both ways, as we all said many times here. He's just creating a pathway for other people to follow. And I think, for 2028, I'm thinking that he's creating a good a stepping stone for whoever takes on office. If it's JD Vance or whoever, I mean, he's just creating a whole pathway on how to make it happen for the American first agenda, right? And I think that's something that we as the voters have been screaming out for the last 8 or 10 years, right?
Yep. Yeah, guys. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with what's going on. It's great. It's fantastic, and I think yeah. But let's keep pushing. I need people going to jail. I am happy to see agencies shutting down. I'm seeing savings. Seeing things cut. That's great. But let's not forget too. We need people to go to jail. But it looks like that's the direction we're going in. They're not. They're investigating everything, so this is good stuff. What's going on with Cash anyways? How come he's not confirmed yet? But
Well, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of things going on with Cash. As you guys know, there's, you know, uh, you know, um, Tom Cotton, he's the, geez, man, it's crazy. I mean, and some of the things that are being uncovered here, we found out that, Tom Cotton, who's a Republican, has been swinging both sides, and now we've seen that some of the things that his decisions that he's making is, stopping this nomination from Cash to move forward. And I think there's a lot of politicians out there, including in the Republican Party, that are not happy with what Cash is going to do. And I think that's one of the things that we're starting to see. We got almost everybody in, and we're having a hard time to bring in, the hammer, which is going to be the FBI, for the investigations. And I think that's one of the things that we need. We need Cash, and there's just been a fork in the road right now with Cash.
yeah, so um, yeah, final story of the day, guys. I actually pretty pumped about this. Trump's confidential plan to put Ukraine in a stranglehold, and this is from the Telegraph, I guess, reporting. So Donald Trump demands 500. I don't know what currency this is. That euros? Payback from Ukraine goes far beyond the U.S. control over the U.S. I'm sorry, over the country's critical minerals. It covers everything from ports and infrastructure to oil and gas and the larger resources based in the country. So yes, guys, I want it all. I want it all, guys. Seriously. Um, only because we keep getting taken advantage of by the rest of the world. and we have no interest with Ukraine. They are not part of NATO. We had no reason. This was this this war with Ukraine ha- is has no national interest to us, and we invested billions of dollars into this deal. So therefore, heck yeah, heck yeah, you're gonna have these ridiculous. This is not something about being heartless, right? Again, we talked about, guys, we're the ones working out here. We're working, we're trying to better our own lives. Okay. I don't know if I talked about this. Like, yeah, I was telling you guys about, like, I'm trying to get, I'm finally just kind of like, okay, trying to get my wife another car. And it's like, man, bro, um, yeah, you know, I make decent money. I make pretty good money. I make above the California average. I would say, high middle class. Okay. High middle class. I I shouldn't it shouldn't be a big deal for me to have a car payment, right? But when I think about the fact, like, I have good financial responsible, like, I have a good practices, okay? I have an emergency fund, I just have my mortgage, I put money away, I budget every month, okay? And yet I'm looking at this like, man, okay, hopefully I might have to have a small payment for a little while, but I'm gonna hammer at this thing, right? I'm gonna hammer at this thing. But I think to myself, yes, I'm gonna make some sacrifices. But I think of people that I see driving around, like here in California, guys, like, because I haven't got, look, I guess because I've been sticker shocked. I have not been looking for cars, okay? But I went to the dealership and I'm like, what the heck? $60,000 for I don't know, I think the Toyota basic model Highlander is $60,000. Um, I'm looking at getting a Subaru Ascent, brand
Mhm.
new. Those things are like, because I really want. It fits my lifestyle. We do a lot of road trips and backpacking and that kind of thing. So it's like the perfect vehicle for my family. Brand new. Those things start at 35 to 40 grand, right? And so I'm like, okay, well, if you were not payment wise, and I guess they're like 72-month loan terms, right? And if you put, like, saying, like, just I don't know, no money down, or if you do something like 1,000, I'm guessing your payment's gonna be like $500-$600 a month, not even including um your insurance, not even including $4 per gallon. And so how do people do this and still put away money for their retirement, right? Like, I'm just thinking to myself, knowing what I make, and yes, I could still do it and put money in my retirement, but I guess I'm just looking at, like, okay, people that work for me, I know what they make, okay? And I'm just like, yo, how are you driving around in a Cadillac that is a $65,000 SUV, you know, making, let's say, I think the average is 60 grand a year. It's
Mhm.
just I'm saying all of this because those same people are paying all of these taxes as well, right? I
Mhm.
know they're struggling. I know they're struggling because we just talked about $2,500 a month mortgage payment for their first house. That's Abe. That's what you're going to be looking at, right? Abe's going to be paying $2,500, crazy, because I don't hear. I'm thank God a $2,500 a month mortgage payment, right? And here in California, our home insurance is about to go up. So all I'm saying is, yes, all this to say, yes, I pay for that damn war. You know what I mean? I'm over here making sacrifices as an American, working. Yeah, I want your minerals. I want I
Mhm.
want I want oil. I want to get paid back, you know? There needs to be something in this for us, the taxpayer. And thank God Donald Trump is out there and pushing for this. And apparently, what's his name? What's that guy? from Ukraine. His name Zelensky.
Right.
Yeah, he volunteered the minerals. Here, let me see if I can find it here on this article. It says the agreement value associated resources, Ukraine, including mineral resources, oil and gas resources, ports, other infrastructures, as agreed, leaving it unclear what else might be encompassed. This agreement shall be governed by the New York law without regard to conflict of law principles in its states. The U.S. will take, I think this means 50% of recurring revenues received by Ukraine from extracting of resources and 50% of the financial value of all new licenses issued to third parties for the future monetization of resources. There will be a lien on such revenues in favor of the U.S. The clause means pay us first, right? So we need to get paid first before they get paid, right? We get our 50%. And then feed your children, said one source close to the negotiation. It states that for all future licenses, the U.S. will have a right of first refusal for the purchase of exploring explorable minerals. Washington will have sovereign immunity and acquire near total control over most of Ukraine's commodity and resource economy. The fund shall have exclusive rights to establish the method, selection criteria, terms, and conditions of all future licenses and projects, and so forth. In this vein, it seems to have been written by the private lawyer, not the U.S. Department of State of Commerce. So it sounds like this agreement wasn't drafted by some government moron that we know they're all idiots at this point. President Zelensky himself proposed the idea. So before people start going crazy about how evil we are, right? President Zelensky himself proposed the idea of giving the U.S. A direct stake in Ukraine's rare earth elements and critical minerals on a visit to Trump Tower in September, hoping to smooth things over the way, smooth the way for continued armed deliveries. So yeah,
Mhm.
he wants our weapons. Okay. But guess what? We want half of your minerals, guys. So yeah, that good news for us, guys, if this goes through, because guess what? We get half of the revenue they produce, and we get we get paid first, right? So think about what that's gonna do to paying our national debt down. Think about what that's gonna do to um with our budget. How much, I don't know what the impact is as far as, okay, well, then that's less money that us as a taxpayer have to contribute because they're getting that revenue source now from Ukraine. I think it's great.
Hmm. Yeah, no, and I think those are the guarantees, right? Those are the guarantees that Donald Trump has been trying to bring in, because the reality is this. I mean, think about it. You're right. I mean, we've given so much into this war without getting a dime, and I think it's enough. Ukraine is known to have minerals, right? They're known to have a lot of oil, right? And that's one of the things the reason why Russia wants it, because initially that's what Vladimir Putin, in his mind is like, Ukraine at one point or another was part of the old USSR, which they already know that they have a lot of minerals, a lot of oil, and that's one of the things that Trump. Do we need them? Do we need this stuff? No, we don't. We do have our own produced oil here. But I think for the most part, Trump is onto something where he says enough is enough. The way we can wiggle away out of this without looking bad is, hey, you defer to our offer. It's you deferring to our demands now. We're not going to give you something that's free. Well, you've been receiving free stuff, and it's enough. It's enough. And I think it's a good time for Trump to hold the brakes and say, this is gonna be something that you decide. It's on your court, right? It's something that he now brings on his court and say, enough is enough. Enough freebies. Now it's your call. The ball's on your court. You decide what you want to do. You don't want to do that? Okay, we're not giving you anything anymore for free. And I think that's a way for us to say enough is enough. Grifters are out, and we just move on, right, with the America First agenda.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, I think it's a great deal. Making some great moves. First 30 days have been great. That's pretty much what we got, guys. Thanks for joining us here on the Unrestrained podcast. Help us out. Make sure you're sharing, you're subscribing, you're liking, you're commenting. Yeah, guys, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bells on there, which I don't know if is there bells? Are there all bells on all the platforms? Or is
Yes.
there something different? So I guess they're all a bell, right?
Yep. Yep.
Unrestrained podcast.
Notifications.
Yep. And we'll be here Mondays, 7 o'clock live stream. Go ahead and join us. Let your friends know. And I don't know, guys. The goal is one day we will get to go to the White House.
That's it. That's good.
And you can tell your friends, those guys only had like 100 subscribers and like 2 views. And I was the second view. But I hung in there and look at them now. I helped them get there.
100%, man. Yep, yep, that's true, man. We're working our way through this platform. We want to thank everyone from our YouTube, our TikTok, our X platforms. And I know today was a holiday, so I know some of you were probably like, "I'm gonna stay out. I'm just gonna focus. I'm gonna tune out what's going on in social media." But we're just so thankful to be able to come in here and just share with you some of the stuff that we're seeing. But in a sense, some people, they send us a message. They're like, "Thank you so much." I mean, we're getting a lot of response in TikTok saying thank you for providing these videos that are informative to us. Now let's just continue to provide information. For us, it's a great opportunity to get to meet the people in the comment, and so we're so grateful and thankful, and just for you to be able to join in and just be part of this great stream.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you so much. Take care.